Alright, we're working on a 2013 Dodge Dart. It doesn't matter really the model. If you've got a Dart 13 through a 2016, it's going to be the same. And having an issue where the emergency brake is not working. This is kind of common on these, so I'm going to be showing you how to fix that. Hopefully it doesn't cost you anything. And you know, if you find this video helpful, please share this, hit that like button, help someone else out. So, you know, what you're going to know is you're going to come in here and you pull up on this, and it's basically just going to pull back. Your car is going to be rolling. It's not going to be working at all. And you see a lot of people will come in here and they start taking the console out. And I had thought about that to get access to it. However, I did not do that. It's a lot of work taking this console out. You don't need to do that in probably 99% of the cases. Okay, so I want to show you the first area I looked, and this is what I removed just to look in here to see what was going on. You take a little trim tool like this, you pop this back off, and that gives you access where we can look down under here. Okay, now y'all stay with me. If we look up in here, this has a cable. You can see this cable and this cable. This runs to your wheels back there, to the calipers. And you see up in there, that is what everyone will tell you that you're going to adjust. Now, most of the time on these cars, this is not going to be your issue. Now, this is what I checked. So, what you're looking at there, on this one, it's got an 11 millimeter with a 10 millimeter jam nut behind it there. So I went in and I adjusted that. It didn't do anything. So this is where I come in through with just a deep socket. So this is what I was using. So now if you did have a problem, that's where you would tighten that up or loosen it or whatever. Okay, now we're going to come back here. I've got both of these wheels off, and this is where your problem is going to be. And what we're looking at is the cable that's running down here to the back of this caliper, and it has a spring and it has this little arm, and what it does is it pulls that up. Now what you're going to see more than likely, if it's like this one, you'll notice that I've got a lot of grease on here. This is what I was using. So let me show you what, now this is what this should look like. You notice how this is all the way down here. This arm is down here. Now if this is up here, then it will not work. This has to come down, and what happens is this back here hangs up and it doesn't allow this arm to come back down where it can reapply that tension, so you will not have a parking brake. Now I pulled my brake up, but this is what it looked like without the brake even engaged. It was stuck. This cable was stuck up here, and the reason it's stuck is because of this arm here. So what I did was I sprayed this down with this white lithium really good, and I had to work each of these arms on both sides. So when I started out with this, it was stuck so bad I was taking my rubber mallet and I was hitting this. I'm not going to hit it now because I've actually got it working, but it was stuck and I was having to hit this arm all the way down, and it would break it loose some, but then when I would go to move it, it would be stuck again. So I had to take and hit it down, and then I got it loose enough where I was hitting it with this, and I'd hit it back up, and I would hit it down and hit it back up, and eventually it got this broke free enough. And see, I've got it released, but if you watch, when you hit that, this thing should pop back down, and it was not doing that. So either your cable's getting stuck or this arm. Most of the time it's the arm there. Let me show you the back side. Okay, so this is just a look at it from the back. Like I said, I've seen people talk about replacing these and doing all sorts of things, but the bottom line, this spring is supposed to keep this working, and if it's seizing up, it's not going to be able to do that. But a little bit of white lithium grease, all I used. And if you don't have this cable down here, then it's hung up, and you're going to have to free it up and get it loose. So you're going to have to work with it, hitting it, knocking it down, hitting it up, knocking it down, work your lever in there until you can get this moving. I said I've seen people, you know, replacing these. Now let's just say that you're up north and you got a lot of corrosion and this is ate all up. You might have to replace your caliper. That's going to be the worst case scenario, but try this first. This is not going to cost you anything and you'll get this brake working. Okay, so let me show you this in action. We're going to pull it up and release it, and if yours is not doing this, then it is not working properly. Okay, so we're pull it all the way up and push it all the way back down. Pull it all the way back again. Okay, and you see that's working really good. It's got a lot of tension on it. Release it and it's coming all the way back down on its own. That's what it should be doing. Now if it's not doing that, then it's not going to work. Okay, now I want you to take a look at this other side here. Now you'll notice this is not coming down and hitting the bottom of this piece of metal right here. So I need to spray this down a little bit more, and we're going to have to work it because it's still trying to seize up on us here. So I'm gonna get some more grease over here. So I got my white lithium. I'm just spraying it all back in here. I'm gonna spray the cable for good measure. And we're gonna just work this thing. And see, before I was having to hit it down because it wasn't even wanting to come down, so I was having to hit it down this way. Now you see that we pretty much got it freed up really good. Now we're going to go ahead and pull the lever up and we'll test this one out here, just pulling it up and down. Okay, release it, push it down all the way. It needs to come down a little bit. Now another thing that could happen, if somebody has adjusted this and tightened up on the console where I was showing you that 11mm, 10mm, whatever, you may have to actually loosen that nut off, because if they took up too much slack, then this is not going to be able to come back down because that up there is going to be holding it. Okay, go ahead and pull it up. Okay, you can see we got this one working. I didn't have to back the nut off in there. Push it all the way down. Release. Okay, so we got this side working good. We know the other side's working good. So go ahead and pull it all the way up. Okay, with the brake engaged, we're going to try to spin this. Before we even put the tire on, we'll see if we can move this. And this is just as solid as it can be. So we know we got this working. Now we're going to go ahead and put the tire on. We'll try to spin it with the tire on, see what it does. Okay, and like I said, all we've done was sprayed this with grease, and we've worked that mechanism and freed it up. And we got this working really good. Now, like I said, if we do have to tighten this up, we're going to come in here with this 11mm, and we're going to hook that on, and we're just going to tighten it up a little bit. We're going to go ahead and torque these lugs to 100 foot-pounds. Now I've already tried to spin the tire by hand, could not. We're going to go ahead and test it, actually get the car running here, put it in drive and see how it's going to hold. Always keep your front tires shocked or rear tires shocked if you're working on the front, vice versa. Okay, now one really good test, you know, other than getting it on a heel, is a good way of checking it. But just to show you, we got the brake down, but we'll put it in drive here, and this thing will take off. You see, it will take off moving on us. Okay, so we're going to try it in drive. Let's go ahead and pull our brake up. It probably doesn't even have to be all the way. And you can see that we're not moving, and I should be able to give it a little bit of gas here and it shouldn't move on me. It's flashing at me there, but it's holding it. And before with it drive, it would take off just like it didn't have any brake on. So if it'll hold with it in gear and me giving it gas, I know it's going to hold with it on a hill. Okay, so like I said, if you own one of these Dodge Darts 13 through a 16, I can almost say 99% that it's probably going to be your caliper that's stuck there. And please share this video with others and hopefully save them some money. I've heard people replacing their cables, their lever, their calipers. You probably won't need to do that. You see how I fixed these with a little bit of white lithium PV blaster. Didn't cost us really anything, just a little bit of time and taking our wheels off and just spraying them down and getting those working again. And as far as the adjustment goes back there into the console, I did not have to tighten that up any. The only problem was the cable was stuck in the up position. So like I said, please share this video, give it a like, hope you enjoyed it, and I thank y'all for watching.